Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Focus Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. Today I'm joined by Kent from Belfast. How you doing, Kent? You all right, mate?
Good morning, Russell.
All right, lad.
I like the cap and the coat.
You like the cap? No, my man got me that a couple of years ago, 18 months or something, but a barber coat in it. So I said, I don't want that, man. They're for old timers. So I thought I'd get you this. So I thought I'd wear it, but it's all right for walking dog.
I've got one, Russell. So I think they're cool. I like all that type of attire. It's a bit different. It's a bit different from North Face that everybody seems to wear nowadays.
Mate, North Face is all right, mate. North Face stuff.
I prefer barber. I'm a barber man, mate.
Is that what you wear when you go around to all your bitches' houses, Ken? Right, listen, there's a lot going on in boxing. Let's start off with Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte. Does it happen, yes or no?
At the start, when it was announced and all, and we all thought we had closure with it, and yeah, we've got this fight, and this fight's happening. And I listened to your video, your comeback video the other day there, and I'm like, I disagreed with you. And from that, I've actually said this fight is not going to happen. No chance.
You don't think it happens, Kent, no?
No, it don't. No, it don't. No chance.
You've got too
you've too much, like, there's too much going to happen here. You know, think about it. Do you honestly think that Frank Warren, Bob Arum, would trust Dillian Whyte to actually go in and fight as scheduled? You know, look at the many fights that Dillian Whyte has pulled out. Who's to say that Dillian Whyte doesn't pull out of that fight 2 days before the fight, and the whole thing is an absolute commercial disaster financially? Yeah. So there's been nothing said. There's been nothing done. I don't know how many power plays went on that day, you know, with help. I don't think it happens, Russell. No chance.
No. There's too many moving parts, isn't there? And there's too many big personalities involved, big egos and things like that in there.
You think about it, the whole thing, you know, it's going to mean that there's going to be a massive pay-per-view in the UK, and Matchroom has absolutely nothing to do with it. I don't even know what's going on with Hearn and Dillian Whyte. There's stuff going around now that Ben Shalom was there representing Dillian Whyte on the day. Bob Arum has said it in 2 interviews. I don't know. I just don't think this fight happens at all. I think it would mean that it would be Sky are going to be involved in this fight. Think about it. So Bob Arum now has got a deal with Sky. And basically, I think this fight, if it happens, if it was going to happen, there's a good chance that it was going to be on BT box office and Sky box office in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And that would mean that the zone will be...
Yeah, go on, keep talking. It's like...
The zone will be out in the year. And, you know, that the whole thing with the zone that they have been trying to do is they've been trying to launch a pay-per-view platform, and this fight would have been probably the fight if they had won it, or if they wanted to win it, that would have ended up on as their flagship pay-per-view fight on their pay-per-view platform. So I don't know. I just think there's too much, as you say, there's too much moving objects with this fight. Whole thing at the minute now that even the WBC, I think for a WBC title fight, that when the purse bid has won, you have to give 10% of the purse in as proof of funds. Now that is going to go in as a winner's pot because the purse bid was so big. I think it was the biggest purse bid in history.
And WBC can't be trusted with 41 million.
Any of the sanctioning bodies, I think it's the first biggest. I think the second biggest was I think it was when Buster Douglas and Holyfield. I think it was second, and the third was I think Povetkin and Vladimir. But that's gone off the subject. But I just think there's too much going on here. There's too much writing. And do you think Sky was involved in that purse bid in some way?
I don't know, to be honest. If they were, they made a mess of it, didn't they? Because they didn't bid, did they? They thought they could do a deal at end because they've done that many deals at the end with Eddie Hearn. They thought that it'd never get to that stage. So they tried to nip in at the 11th hour, but looks like Warren and them said, no, we're going to bid, we're going all the way, there's no deals. And I think that's good because purse bids are there for everybody to bid, and every promoter can bid on them. Every single person who's a promoter in the world can bid on them.
But really, Russell, Sky have an involvement in this fight now with Bob Arum. Bob Arum has got a deal with Sky. Yeah. So where does that lead? Where does, where do you think that will factor out in the landscape there?
I don't really know. I think Bob Arum being at Sky is probably going to save Bricktop if DAZN buy into BT Sport, because if they do that, Bricktop will be gone only from there.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well. That's a thing that was worrying me when it was announced. If this fight, when do you reckon it's going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen probably April time at some stage?
Well, didn't they say it's Ramadan or something then?
Ramadan. So you're talking May. You're talking May.
What's Ramadan got to do with Dylan White and Fury though? They're not Muslim, are they?
No idea. No idea. I heard Bob Arum say that, but if it's down that line, it's going to be May, June. It's going to be a summer fight. I just hope at some stage that DAZN don't buy BT, because if DAZN buy BT, DAZN's going to have the rights to that fight. Mm-hmm. So that is something that worries me. And do you think that Bob Arum and Frank went in with that super bid and they knew that this fight wasn't going to happen? Was it just a power play?
Well, this is, me, right? Whatever I'm told, right, when it's anything like this, if it's too good to be true, I always think it ain't happening. Things don't happen in life. If people could be like anything in life, when you get involved with somebody with a deal and you're going to do a certain deal with someone, whether it be a car or whatever, and it sounds too good to be true, it usually means it's a load of knackers. And it's not so long ago, Frank Warren couldn't pay his gas bill. Now he's putting world record purses out. So as far as I'm concerned, with all the form of this shower of shit that are involved in this, it's knackers. I treat it as knackers. We've not heard no from Dylan White or Eddie Earls, right? So the Lone Wolf and Pinocchio have not said a word, right? So I'm looking at it as knackers, shit chatters. So that's that. So if they prove me wrong, good, I'll watch it. I'll probably pay for it. But at this moment in time, it's a load of people chatting a load of shit, and that's all boxing is. Shit chatters.
There's people there last week who were putting out all this information that they had all these inside sources and everyone.
Like that stupid sporting icons and Gareth A. Davis and that. How stupid do they look? This is what happens. This is what happens when you get in bed with somebody and you're trying to do favors for them on social media. This is what happens. Because sooner or later you lose credibility. You have to break away and be your own man. Gareth A. Davis has been played like a fucking cheap fiddle, and he knows it, and he's embarrassed because I've heard back. But he wanted to put his head up Fury's ringer for the last 4 years, didn't he? And get his confidence and all that. And then, boom, they played him when they needed him. Tyson had an ace up his sleeve. Gareth A. Davis, credibility, who's had credibility for years, he's now got no credibility. And the Telegraph must be embarrassed. From him and his sources, he didn't want to reveal them. Everybody in boxing knows that Fury made him put that story out. Made him put it out, mate. Fucking hell, man. They should be
Fake
embarrassed.
news.
Second person he went to, Michelle Phelps. Well, she shit her pants, didn't she? And put something out next day, soon as Joshua put a video out. How you fight fans? Just keeping you in the loop. What's happening? Covering her ass, mate. Embarrassing. They've been played. Michelle Phelps don't mean fuck all to Tyson, and the Gad don't mean fuck all to him. They're not blood. They don't mean fuck all to him. Fuck all. The end goal is money. And they put the foot down with him getting extra 5 million. Well done, Tyson. If John Fury played a part in it, well done. You shouldn't just be holding boxing to ransom for millions to not fight. Joshua's a shithouse. Shithouse.
It just goes to show you now, like long term now, like where does that look in the landscape for Gareth Bay Davis with Matchroom and DAZN? He will not get access. You know, he's putting all this stuff out about their fighters last week and this and that, trying to make them and their brand look bad. It just goes to show you. It almost looks like his own career with boxing and Matchroom has been totally sabotaged long term. Do you honestly think that Gareth A. Davis?
Listen, mate, do you know him? He's heading for Skid Row, mate. Used and abused, mate. Have you seen how he's carrying off these fight weeks? Listen, mate, he needs watching him, mate. He needs watching, mate. Walking by my mate at this media door, and my mate were trying to set his camera up, and his mate were doing camera, and he were in front, get it focus ready, and he stood behind him going like that with his fingers. And my mate says, "What are you doing?" The guy gets excited around boxing people, fair enough, and it's an exciting sport. But he knows that he was played with that 15 million story. He was played like a cheap fiddle. And that's what he is, a cheap fucking fiddle, shit house.
So, you know, all these sources and this and that, and
Saucer.
This and that.
So what? Daddy's sauce or HP Tutti Frutti? Fucking saucers. Gee, flying saucers. Flying UFOs, aren't they? Flying saucers. Fucking saucers.
And now the rhetoric and the talk is for Dillian White and Eddie Hearn not saying anything was because of the WBC arbitration over the split. But there was plenty of talk this last 6 months about not getting a shot at the WBC, about this and that. And now, you know, they've been talking before the arbitration and during it. But because the fight's happening now, nobody's saying anything. And the excuse is they can't say anything because of the arbitration. But they said plenty the last few weeks. So that's going to be the excuse for pulling out of the fight, is because they didn't get enough of the purse split. The purse split, it's got the biggest purse of his career, and it's still not enough.
Yeah, it's well, this is how I look at it, right? If Dillian White pulls out of the Fury fight, the lone wolf, the can man, anybody who wants it can get it, bruv. Right, so Dillian White pulls out the Fury fight over money, because money is the root of all evil, isn't it? Where does he go then? And who does he fight? Because boxing fans are fickle fuckers. They won't get behind him no more if he don't fight Fury next. And Frank Warren is laying all the foundations and leading the fans on. It's a great fight, and Dylan's got a chance. Record person, he's been mandatory all these days. Was never mandatory. Was he mandatory, Ken? We got it all up, didn't we, from WBC?
He was knocked out by Povetkin, who was 40.
He's never been mandatory in this 1,000 days. It's fucking Fantasy Island. It's Fantasy Island stuff. But Frank's not bothered because he's going to let them hang themselves. Dillian White's hanging himself. Frank's giving him rope. And if he don't fight, He's hung himself like what they used to do at Armley Jail in 18th century. Hung himself, mate. And the same goes for Big Meech. If Big Meech don't fight Usyk, he's hanging himself. And they can't see it. Do you know why? Because they're blinded by greed. Pure greed. Pure greed, mate. That's what it is. Pure greed.
I could see them two actually. I think the only way for Joshua and Dillian White to get a fight outside of titles is to fight each other. And I think that's going to be the fight next. I think that's the only fight. I don't see Joshua going for Usyk. I don't see Dillian White going into that fight against Fury, because if Dillian White goes into that fight against Fury and gets absolutely flogged, there's no way back for him. There's no other fight there for him. So I can see that White and that Joshua fight happening, and it's going to be the excuse. The purse split. I can get more money fighting Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's lost. I near beat him the last time, which he didn't. I'm going to beat him. I've beat him as an amateur. The whole story from Joshua was, well, Lennox Lewis didn't take an immediate rematch. I'm betting in with a new trainer, and I'm going to fight Undisputed next. That's going to be the story, and that's the only way outside of those fights they're going to make money, and it's going to be on a DAZN platform. There's no way that Eddie Hearn's going to let all that happen down the line for Sky to get and BT get a massive pay-per-view and a massive gate. His ego wouldn't let it.
Probably right there, mate. You are probably right. It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward, but if Dillian White does not fight Joshua next, this is who I want to see him in with. Yoka, Ergovic, Joe Joyce, Dubois. It's got to be one of them four, right? If Dillian White and Joshua as well, or Joshua. And Joshua, if he don't fight Usyk next, he's got to fight Dillian White, Yoka, Ergovic, Joyce, and Dubois. And Yui's got to be in that mix as well, hasn't he? He's highly ranked as well, hasn't he? They've got to fight one of them. They've got to roll the dice. They can't keep hiding behind these Malcolm Tans and Marius Vack and Lucas Browns and, Ian Lewinsons, people like that. They can't keep doing that. They've got to step up to the plate. They've got to step up to the plate. And it's getting to the stage now where fighters are now businessmen. Not fighting. Tell me what fights are happening at the moment that we can say that's definitely going to happen in the blue ribbon division.
Nothing.
It's parked up, isn't it? It's all
absolutely
parked
nothing.
up. Everybody, because they know that they all want to get to that big pot of rainbow at the end, and they just daren't risk themselves taking a chance. And it's becoming, look at the situation with Ergovic. He can't even get an eliminator. So they're probably just going to have to put in as mandatory for IBF. So we've got Ergovic IBF, Joyce WBO, is it? Dubois WBA. Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know who's the IBO, but they don't call managers, do they, Ed Levine?
No.
You don't call them.
No.
And we've got Usyk with 4 belts, Tyson with 1, plus Ring Magazine belt. But So we can say Tyson's the man, then you've got Usyk. They're the men, aren't they? Why couldn't they just fight? Well, Joshua's got a contract, hasn't he? And Eddie Hearn's a stickler for contracts, so why don't they honour it without all this trying to go step aside? Same situation with Galahad and Warrington. That suited Eddie not for that contract to be sorted. Terry Harper against Baumgardner.
Yeah.
They didn't honour that, did they? All of a sudden, they've got weight issues when they're getting knocked out, but they didn't have weight issues when they're signing to fight for 2 fights over a period of a year. There's no weight issues then, is there? And no red flags on check weighing. So why all of a sudden, when they get iced, there's weight issues? No. Eddie Hearn and Galahad lost money on the show. Eddie lost money on that show, so he don't want to put him out there again. And Harper, she'd never been hit, has she, like that before? She don't like getting hit, which is fair enough. So they're moving up. But if she don't like getting hit that way, and she's moving up, isn't that even more dangerous? And she's got weak whiskers. So it's a shit feast to get money. That's all it is, a shit feast to get money in. And they're lying and bullshitting the way around. What's the point in having rules? Because if you break rules, you know what you've got? You've got anarchy, haven't you? If you start breaking rules. So what's the point in having these rules when these governing bodies can just break them when they want? Rematch clauses are mandatory for starters, have got to go. Shocking, but all these rematch clauses, utter bullshit, man. Winds me up.
It's just becoming the networks are too powerful now. The TV companies are too powerful now. There's too much money generated from these pay-per-view fights, and they're just controlling boxing. The sanctioning bodies, as you say, they can do what they want. The whole, even Eddie Hearn said that probably 2 years ago there was videos out there, and he was saying that it says in the rules. But if you read the small print, basically the sanctioning body can do what they want.
Of course they can do what they want. It's been going on for years. WBC, we be crooks. WBA, 44 world champions, aren't they, in 17 weight divisions, according to Adam, most annoying man in boxing, Brown Nose the Catterall on Talksport. Then you've got WBO. Oh. We don't even count that. IBF, they got busted in 1984. Bob Lee and all the rest of them all got locked up, didn't they? Bob Arum ended up going to court. Did he have paying £100,000 to get heavyweights bumped up rankings? Who was the other guy who was brown bread? He used to be involved with Glenn McCrory. Frederick Kushner, he got done, didn't he? He lost his money.
Cedric, yeah. The South African promoter.
Bent cunts.
The South African promoter used to promote all those heavyweight shows in Eurosport.
Bent fuckers.
Yeah.
It's bent fucks.
You look at the rankings, the rankings are like the WBA rankings at the minute. If you look, Sergio Martinez is 44 years old. He's had 2 fights.
46 he is. I've just checked this morning. I was looking 46. At his record. He's 47 next birthday. Maravella is called, isn't he? Spanish kid.
Yeah. He's rated number
47 next.
He's rated in the top 5 of the WBA. He's rated top 5 in the WBA rankings.
Hang on a minute, I've fucked my seat up. Yeah, well, keep talking.
It just out of complete obscurity, fighting obscure opposition, and now he's rated in the top 5 of the WBA. That's just complete madness, Russell. Complete madness.
Listen, he's an old codger, 47, and I thought Joe Gallagher's lad did well against him.
Yeah, he did. The Scottish kid.
He did well. Thought he did well.
And it was a good. Hopefully, it was a good payday for him as well. Of course, you're going to take that opportunity, but it's just crazy. High boxing. It's actually not crazy because it's what we've been conditioned to. And before, things like that would have been surprising, but boxing nothing surprises you anymore in boxing. It's just becoming a soap opera of a sport now. These things don't surprise you.
It's like Emmerdale Farm with gum shields, mate, isn't it? Like Emmerdale with fucking gum shield. Right,
you look at the WBA and, did you watch Trevor Bryant at the weekend?
Fucking hell, mate. I thought he got beat.
It was terrible.
I thought he got beat, mate. I thought he got fucking beat. Is that who Dylan White's going to go for next? Trevor Bryan, if he pulls out this fight? I've been known as an interim champion.
I don't think he's high enough. And, well, they could just... Listen, they brought that guy in and they put him in the top 16 from not even being in the top 200 heavyweights, so they can do what they want, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you remember that I did 4 years ago when I had that made there? Hang on a minute. See that there? Fury at top, Joshua,
yep,
and Wilder.
Yeah.
There's only Fury. Shit. I'm hopeless with that. Cameron, you need to come and fucking set all this shit up. There's only Fury who's really fought Wilder 3 times. Joshua's not fought either of them, has he? Now, everything I said when they had Vladimir and Joshua at Wembley, they flew Wilder over first class, put him in an hotel, paid him well, looked after him. He were going to fight the winner, and I said bullshit. Well, that's 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Right? That's bad, isn't it? Right. Who has Joshua beat in that 5 years since Vladimir? Nobody, because after that fight, they matched him very carefully. He's been in with your Pulevs, your Povetkins, Andrew Ruiz, you know, people
Trevor,
like
Dominic Brazil.
that will be Dominic Brazil. When he before Vladimir? I think he might have been before. I think he might have been before Vladimir, just for IBF. I'm not sure, but don't quote me on it. But I'm just saying, his CV is piss poor. In 5 years, Joshua's gone backwards. Since he got some fists against Vladimir, he's been wrapped in cotton wool. And this is why I think he pulls out this Usyk fight. I don't think he takes it next. Dylan White, the fact they were asking for extravagant money and this and that, I don't think he takes this fight as well. I think Eddie Hills, the 4-0 Iceman from Billericay, free by way of Pinocchio, I think he's going to be in Dylan White's hero and be working on him. That's what I think.
Yeah, of course. It's. I don't think Bob and Frank would actually trust Dillian White to go through camp and to make this fight happen. What's to say, you know, someone pulls out the day before, 2 days before the fight? You couldn't sell it. You couldn't get a credible opponent at that time. So I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with you there. And it's just crazy that, you know, it looks like it's the kind of Dave Allen thing all over again, really, isn't it? You know, the whole thing with when Dave Allen was offered that massive money to fight Dubois and was like, yeah, come on and don't do this and be loyal. I'm going to be loyal to me and all, Eddie and all this. And look what happened to him afterwards. And hopefully, you know, the fight does happen and Dillian White doesn't say to himself 2 years down the line, you know, I pulled out of that fight. I could have had X amount of million, and look what's happened to my career from this. Same story.
Listen, who's Dave Allen fought since he didn't fight the bar? Dorian Darch, which got investigated for match fixing or fight fixing. And what were the other one? Some foreign guy with a losing record on a Dennis show in a car park or whatever it was. A Ponsford car park or whatever. I'm not interested. But the point I want to make is he's gone downhill since then, hasn't he, David? He should have took that fight if he were coming to the end of his career and he'd had enough and cashed out. He didn't cash his chips, did he? So that's his own fault because he wanted to rim Eddie Hearn's fucking ringer, didn't he? Oh, Eddie, I just want to show loyalty. He didn't got no fucking loyalty to you, David. Jesus, he would have been set up for life now, David, if he took that fight. Except that bus has gone now and it's probably never going to come back.
So look at this, right? So we've got Joe Joyce, who's with Frank. What's to say that after the purse bid arbitration, say it doesn't go Dillian White's way, what's to say that Joe Joyce and Tyson Fury don't fight next? Does that fight interest you more, or does it generate more money?
Joe Joyce against Dylan White?
No, Joe Joyce against Tyson Fury.
That's a great fight. But hey, listen, Tyson Fury, Dylan White, Joshua Usyk, Joe Joyce, Ergebig, Ortiz, Wilder, Hughie Fury, can't put Hughie in with Tyson, but Hughie, probably Martin McCauley. All them in mix, it's good, isn't it? If they all fight each other. But nobody's fighting each other. Big fucking fighting men that don't fight. Fuck me, I expect this off John Fury. Not fucking these professional fighters. Do me a favour.
You know, you look at it from down that road, you know, it's all of a sudden that Joe Joyce has got an injury and he's out of the spotlight for a while, and it takes him away from any other possible fights or opponents. He's been probably told stay out of the road for a while, watch how this thing plans out. If Dillian White doesn't take the fight, you're going to get this opportunity for the WBC. And Tyson's already said that he would fight Joe Joyce. Now, I'm not saying that I would believe anything that Tyson said. You know, I wouldn't. But he seems to have a lot of good things to say about Joe Joyce. So I could actually see that fight happening before Dillian White against Tyson Fury. You know, Joe Joyce isn't going to get a look in here for this WBO title against Usyk. I don't know what the deal is with Alex Krasnick, his manager. You know, they seem to have Usyk. They seem to have this deal with DAZN, and they're on. You know, they were with Eddie a few fights on Sky, and now they seem to be doing stuff with him on DAZN. So that's going to put him further out of the mix. That means that they're going to have to bring Joe Joyce along into their camp and into their broadcaster. So that's not going. Frank knows this. That's not going to suit them long term. So I actually think that the sooner this arbitration happens, the sooner we find out about does Dillian White get another split. I personally don't think he is. I personally don't think he deserves that split, because you know Dillian White couldn't sell out the O2. So why does he want a bigger split against Tyson Fury?
Because they want to listen. There's two ways fights don't happen. Either the fighter don't want it, which means he prices himself out, or he just says they're going in a different direction. That's what happens, and it looks like Dillian White's priced himself out. He's got an overinflated opinion on what his worth is. Now, Dillian White, on his CV, he has a vacant British title to his record, to his name against Ian Lewinson, sorry. The other one's the guy who stopped fights when they shouldn't be stopped. Ian John Lewinson. Ian Lewinson, British title vacant. Fat as a pig Michelin man, over 20 stone. That's Dillian White's CV. Ian Lewinson, British title. That's it. There's no European title win. You're not fought for a European or a world. The rest of it is just a mix up of top 15 guys and top 100 guys who are over 40. That's the cold hard light of day that nobody wants to talk about when they keep going on about resume. Well, look at the resume. Fucking Joseph Parker, life and death. Rivers, life and death. Two witches or a life and death. He knows he can't beat Fury. That's why he asked for 10 mil. Well, now he's saying he can beat Fury and he's going to get 11.5 mil if he does it. So he's got to check it because he's getting more than what he asked for. Am I right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know that the whole. I think the WBC have been very, very smart here with that win bonus, and what they've said is, well, basically, you know, the split will not say the split doesn't go his way. They'll say, well, if you're so confident you're going to win this fight, you've got an extra 10% bonus here, which is going to make your purse up to that 30% split that you wanted. So they're trying to call his bluff on that. When was the last time you heard WBC doing a bonus on a fight?
Never heard it before, never. The same it's been done before in the past. Only thing I've heard about is when Robin Reed defended against Henry Wharton, Mickey Duff and Bricktop had a £50,000 bet in cash, and Mickey Duff fighter Wharton lost against Robin Reed, and Frank collected the 50 grand. That's only time. Oh, I think I heard one. Didn't Andy Ayling have a £5 grand bet that Frankie Gavin beat? Not Frankie Gavin. Somebody beat Eggington, didn't they? Who were that? Or Bradley Skeet beat Eggington, didn't he? And Barry Earn had a £5 grand wages. Wages like that happen all the time. But that's the biggest one I've heard is that 50 grand. But now that they're talking millions, and It's just all seems too far-fetched. A lot of shit talkers. I don't believe any of it. Till I see him in the ring and I see these checks handed over and all this, it's a load of shit. Well, listen, let me tell you this. Boxing promoters and all the knackers that surround it, TV platforms and all this, you've just seen how sneaky they all are, that Ben Shalom. Oh, I'm representing Dylan, ringing Queensbrook at last minute and all that. All trying to do the little fucking bits of sneakiness. Listen, these people, I look at them as like politicians. I hope they say that comes out the fucking mouth. I don't believe it. Yeah, I may be into conspiracies and all that shit, but so what? I don't believe a fucking word that 99% of these no good cunts say. I don't believe a word. Until Fury's in the ring, I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I just how I feel about it. I think that Dylan White is on a dog lead. Eddie Hearn's got him on a dog lead, and he's a puppet for Eddie and a blocker for Joshua. That's what I think. And do you know what? I agree with John Fury. These people shouldn't be getting free gratis for not fighting. Fucking boxing's not the richest sport in the world. You've got kids on undercards now fighting for 500 quid. And you've got these fuckers fighting for millions. Eh? And not fighting and manoeuvring themselves. It's a fucking shit feast. Ain't there anybody going to come and govern this fucking sport before it folds? Eh? Fucking shit feast.
Step aside and all this has been happening for years. It's not new, Russell. You know, this has been going on. This has been going on for since time began in boxing. There's been step aside money and all this. So it's even if there was someone brought in to govern it, they'd still be able to do it. They'd still be able to do it, Russell.
Yeah, it's not good, mate. It's not good at all. It's just that. No, it's not good. It's not good at all.
What did you think about the Tyson Fury video that they put out when
which one? He does 10 a fucking day, doesn't he?
The video that they were all laughing at the background, and I noticed
Joseph, them, they want fucking laughs.
Yeah. Well, if you look there, Joseph Parker was in the background laughing.
Joseph Parker's got a fucking wife on it 15,000 miles away and he's hanging out of Tyson's ringer. Go fucking home and train at home, you prick.
Is he not promoted by Eddie Hearn and mine? You know, promoted by him. So what's he laughing? You know,
it could be it could be a double agent.
You know, I said to myself that, you know, you're there in the camp with Eddie. So what are you laughing at in the first place? You know, Eddie all seen that.
Now, Parker's laughing a bit forced, but then again, all of it wasn't it? It was all fuck. Tyson just grabs his phone and says, right, when I start laughing, everybody start laughing. And they just nod like nodding dogs. That's it. That's it. That's what's happened there, mate. Listen, at the end of the day, Tyson's more self-promoted than actual fucking fighting. What's he had one fight in 2 fucking years? The fuck out of here. Should be out 3-4 times a year, man, heavyweight champ. Tell it, listen, man, do you think I fall for all these 30-second clips where they're running up street? Yeah, we're running again, aren't we, boys? Get the fuck out of here. He's got 2 beach balls down his back. Have you seen his back? It's like a fucking big fat jelly. That's not a man that's training, mate. That's the man that's doing what he fucking wants. Only person who'll beat Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury. Do you think Usyk will come in shape like that? No
chance.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
No chance.
Anyway, enough talking about them shithouses. So I see them all in ring. It's a load of knackers. Right, Liam Williams against Eubank this weekend. What do you think, Ken?
I was all for Eubank, to be honest with you, but you know, he put a video out yesterday saying that he done a camp on his own, and Roy Jones hadn't been there in camp. And I watched a couple of videos of him, and he seems to be like he's reverted back to that, doing his own thing, hitting the punch wall bag, you know, coaching his coach to hit the pads a certain way. And I think Liam Williams, I seen him training with Adam Booth.
Oh, to Adam Booth, the dark Lord, he's the best.
I was actually going to do that there, Russell, but I didn't have the confidence.
Listen, mate, no, the only fucking me does Adam move impressions like me.
But I just looked at him. He looks so compact. He looks so structured. He looks so content in his training, focused. He's got more structure there, and Eubank has went into this fight thinking that it just goes to show you how much he respects Liam Williams. He looks like he doesn't, because he's had no coach in camp for this fight. Now, I'm not saying that not everyone that holds the pads for him is a coach. You need that figurehead as a coach there to be coaching you and correcting you and keeping discipline in the camp. He hasn't had that. I will go with, I've said this before. I was a big Eubank fan, but I don't like this Eubank under Roy Jones. I think he's trying to be too much. He's trying to do things that Roy Jones used to do. I think he should be his own style, aggressive, going forward, throwing shots. I'm going to go with Liam Williams. I'm going with Liam Williams.
Yeah, you know what? I quite like Liam Williams, actually. I think he comes across as a decent fella, doesn't he? That's what I think, anyway.
Who do you go for? Who you picking in the fight?
You know what? It's a close one, isn't it? Because Liam Williams has got a skill set that's better than Eubanks. He probably punches as hard. He might not be as fit, but we don't know, do we? But it's a very, very tight one to call, and I'm going to sit on fence till weighing. I'm going to do a Coogan till weighing.
Rock, no, Russell. Come on.
I'm leaning towards Eubank, but we haven't really seen much of him with this Roy Jones style and all that, have we? So I don't know, but I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Eubank, but I hope Liam Williams does it, because Eubank's just fucking annoying, isn't he? He's annoying, isn't he, mate? He annoys me.
He has got really
fucking
annoying.
Annoys me to fuck.
He's sitting in those interviews in fur coats and all, and I liked him when he turned pro. I actually seen him fight as a pro on a McKenzie show in Belfast. He actually fought Bradley Spence in a good fight. I think it was an 8-rounder. And I've always supported him. I've always liked him. But I just don't like this version of Junior. I don't think it's what I don't think he's a natural boxer. I think he's just a really good fit pressure fighter. And Roy Jones has taken that away from him. And I know I'm not sold on it, to be honest. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll put my hands up. But I'm going with Liam Williams. Liam Williams has had, he's fought at a higher level, really, hasn't he? I know that.
Oh, yeah. Eubank's been in with Callum, is it not Callum? Groves, and he's been in with Groves.
George Groves.
Arthur Abraham. Billy Joe Saunders. That's better than, he's only been in with Smith, and Smith beat him, didn't he, twice?
He was in with Andrade as well.
Smith and Andrade. You say Eubank's been in with a better guy, wouldn't you? Not by much better, but
not by much, not by much. And as well, I was really excited when Eubank come back and he won that. Was it a regular or interim? He won that interim against Chudinov, and he looked savage in that fight. He looked really, really good. And that was the fight. I think Senior was prancing about the ring and doing this stuff, and it was just ridiculous. But it actually taken away from his performance. That was a brilliant. I would go as far to say I thought the Chudinov fight was Junior's best performance.
Yeah.
By a mile. But I'm gonna go with Liam Williams at the weekend because seems to have more discipline and structure in his camp.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. But I'm leaning slightly towards Eubank. I'm a bit like that. I watched the film yesterday, Scum. Have you seen it with Ray Winston?
Yep.
And that Archer goes in to see Governor and he says, yeah, oh, Archer, coming in. He goes in and he says, what can I do for you? And he says, sir, I am seriously thinking about leaning towards Mecca. Well, I'm seriously thinking about leaning towards Eubank, but he goes, Archer, Mecca, Archer. Thought that was quite funny, actually. That,
Brilliant. I haven't seen much of Ray Winston lately. Hasn't made very much in a while, so he hasn't.
Yeah.
I like his film. I thought he was very good in the Sweeney, the remake of the Sweeney. I thought that was a brilliant film.
Yeah,
so it was.
I've got that. With that Benno, is it?
It was Plan B.
Is it Plan B? Some rapper guy.
Yeah.
White geezer, isn't it? Yeah.
Very good film.
Okay then. Max has got his pro card, you know. I did a 53-minute interview on Members last night with him. Good interview. He's got his pro card. Sam Stokes is going to do his corner, ex-pro, and he flies to Estonia next week for his pro debut against the kid Norton Free. So go on, Max. Go on, Max.
What's going to happen is a lot of fighters are going to be doing that now, and you know, you had that interview on Talk Sport a month ago, and basically they said that they've got so many fighters looking for licenses, but they need more fighters. Doesn't make sense. And it was always fighters now know that the whole thing with Dale Boy and David Hay was the start of this, because the board wouldn't sanction that fight, and they just went and got a Luxembourg license. And a lot of lads now are going to get who are on that backlog of fighters. You know, so I don't think they would have given Max a license. I honestly don't think the board would have given Max a license. So it's worked out best for him. It was a smart move. He's got his license now. He can fight anywhere in Europe. Fair play to him. It's a big jump from the level he was at. It kind of that white collar to going pro. But if he wants to do it, it's up to him. It's
Max don't need to do it, mate. He don't need to do it.
No, I know that.
He's got a business up there. He's got an house, no mortgage. He's got an house. No, he's no debts on. Nice car, few quid it, man. He don't need to do it, but he wants to do it. So that it's up to him, innit? Who am I to say don't do it? All I did say to him, if you watch video, is just don't be used in that, because it's an honourable sport behind the scenes, isn't it? We know what was on.
Yeah, it's probably going to cost him money going away for those, fights. But listen, if he wants to do it, true. You could be doing worse things in your time. So yeah, if he wants to do it, he's an adult. Fair play. He can work away and do it and try his best and see what happens. You know, it's as long as he's not getting put in against guys that are coming out of the ABAs and got good contracts and got a lot more experience. You know, he seems to be, he's getting this fight. He seems to be getting matched well. So yeah, that works out well for him. Fair play.
Yeah. Okie dokie then. Well, listen, thank you for coming on, Ken. You've been a great addition to the Porky Express train. Thank you very much.
Good to see you back, Russell. Good to see you coming back and getting some more content and sticking it to the establishment, as I would say.
I had camera down throat last week. They held me down like a rat, 3 women. Shoved a big black long pipe down my throat like that with a camera on end. While I'm spewing, I felt like I was being waterboarded. It was horrible. But one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. But Bassett Lord, Queen Nottinghamshire, was horrible. I'm just waiting for results on that now, and hopefully I might be able to do a little bit of training then and get my mind right. But till then, it's just a bit of walking with my dog.
It's good. It's getting out in the fresh air, getting out in the countryside.
It's freezing, isn't it? The cows walk about in middle fields in this weather. They're not. Is that why they all huddle together? I don't know, mate. But okie dokie then. Well, listen, you take care. Thank you for coming on. and I will speak to you soon, Kent. All right.
Take care, Russell. All the
Peace
best.
out. Cheers, mate. Bye. Well, that was Kent, all the way from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Have I got it right? Northern Ireland, I think it's Northern Ireland, isn't it? Belfast. Beautiful country. It's on my bucket list. I think that's about it, really. I'm going to go to Costa now and get a cup of tea with honey and a cookie biscuit, I think, or something. Some Jaffa cakes here, is there? No, got a biscuit from Costa. That's about it. I might nip to Meadowhall, get myself a pair of trainers. Early finish today for me. Got to go take a urine sample to the doctors. Aren't we blessed? So I'm going to need test tube to pee in. That's about it. We've covered that. I spoke about most of that last night with Max, but the Max one last night was good. We like to have a bit of fun, don't we? So we've got a members video out there already. Helmets is in production, and this one here. So what's that? 1st of Feb, and there's 3 on board already, more or less. Well, 2 and 1 in production. So we are ripping shit up. Okie dokie. Peace out. I think I might need to wipe that fucking lens.